Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Oh Hey Gays.
Oh, promise me you'll never do that again.
I'll do it every time now. Every time. I'm Sally. Your host, I guess, would be the thing. And my friend, not my special friend, but just my friend, Sarah God. Is here today to talk about coming out and all the wonders that brings. As a lesbian, homosexual, I've come out of the closet. I've come out of the closet a lot.
I know. Your first couple of times.
I know. No wonder people stay in. It was terrible.
It was.
Yeah.
The kids, it gets better.
Well, does it though? I mean,
yes.
I'm 38. I'm 38 years old and I'm still coming out warily at times in places. Work. You meet new friends.
Church.
Yeah, church. Yeah, constantly coming out at church. No, but I mean, my first go was terrible because my mum reacted very badly.
Tell that story.
What story?
About when you first came out. The first time.
Yeah, I was 17. I was visiting my cousins in
Kempsey.
Rural New South Wales. And Mum found alcohol under my bed and called me because Mum doesn't have any impulse control.
You're coming out as a lesbian or an alcoholic?
No, I wasn't coming out as an alcoholic. But she found it under my bed and then she rings me on the phone. I'm like, hello. It wasn't a mobile phone. It was the home phone there at my cousin's place. And she's like, I've just found all this alcohol under your bed. What have you got to say for that? And I said, yeah, well, I've got something to tell you when I get home anyway. Why I said that, I don't know, because I had no plans on telling them that I was gay. And she went, you're either pregnant or you're gay. And I went, well, I'm that. And then she just erupted, assuming clearly that I was a lesbian and not pregnant. Then they made me get on a train to come home and didn't speak to me for 2 weeks, except for Mum intermittently bursting through the room, screaming things at me. And so that was my first coming out, because then we didn't talk about it again for about 2 years after that. Yeah.
So you didn't really come out. You went back in.
Came out, yeah, but it was like, blah, like terrible. The worst thing I really regretted it too. So.
Well, obviously, 2 years. I mean, you can laugh about it now, and I know I do. But because you're in a better position, and that's why I'm saying things do get better. You get into a better state of mind, you're getting older, you're having an adult life.
I'm still a nervous wreck though. Still crazy.
When your mother bursts into your room.
I mean, I always expect them, like, you know, just bursting in anywhere, like if I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, but now you're interesting in coming out, I think, because you've come out a couple of times.
Well,
in different ways.
A little bit, yeah. But then it's also a little bit different in the aspect of how I deal with it now. I mean...
So why don't you just tell your coming out stories, because I think they're quite interesting to hear. So first of all, you came out as a gay man.
Well, I mean, that was even interesting in that aspect. I mean, I was 17, 18. I just started university. And, I mean, I had mannerisms, and I'm sure there was an aspect of thinking I was on my parents' part, even though to this day...
Really? Because I feel like you would have been 100-footer. Like...
Oh, I was so butch. But even to this day, my mother denies even thinking about that, which I find very odd for a little boy who played with Barbie dolls and got a dollhouse as a Year 7 graduation present.
As a Year 7 graduation present?
Yes, I wanted a dollhouse, and I asked my parents, and they'd already been supporting my Barbie addiction for many years. So they got me.
That's denial. That's complete denial. Yeah. Like, they already had one straight son, and didn't need another. Like...
We've reached our quota. But it was still an element of, I still knew that that wasn't me, in the respect of I didn't identify as male. I'd always been very open about that. I mean, I dressed in my mother's clothes, I played with her jewelry. It was very open that it was more of a feminine experience that I was having. So even when I came out and said, I'm attracted to men, it still came with a fine print. But just to let you know, I don't feel like a boy. I feel like a girl.
You said that to them?
Yes. That had always been part of the conversation.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
because I was thinking
there.
that would have been the label, like even back then, you know, for them it makes it easier for them to understand that you're a gay man. That's an easier label than a trans woman, like.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that. Maybe my parents did, but that wasn't ever part of my thinking. I mean, I have always tried to be quite honest. And
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
And I guess I'm brutally honest in the fact that I'm asked a question and I answer it quite detailed, quite specifically. Like, I don't hold back.
What kind of porn do you watch?
I'm not answering that.
Please note.
See later episode. But yeah, so that was still always part of the conversation. I don't know, it was 1996. It just seemed a lot easier to go through that process because it was 1996. I was only 17, 18. Like, for as much as I knew, I hadn't really explored that side too much. But I guess I do take that as an advantage because it meant that with my parents I had another 20 odd years for them to have their own exploration with it. And that's probably what happened with your parents as well.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know the minute that it changed because I had a few relationships and...
But tell us about, okay, you came out 2 years later. What's been the next thing?
What's I'm just trying to think. I can't even remember. I think it suddenly just became okay and maybe I started talking about it more because I didn't bother talking about it with them. But I actually think, though, when they reacted so badly, it pushed me back into the closet in a way. Like, even though I was out and I knew you, you know, I was out with everyone. We're going to gay clubs and doing all that kind of stuff. I was going on dates and being in relationships and stuff. Some great dates, wasn't it? But yeah, I think I was still very much, I thought that everyone, I guess, would react badly if I told them, like, all adults. Like, I even know when I first started work in the government, I was very like, I didn't sort of say yay or nay to either. I'm sure they guessed. And I remember my first government workplace, we were talking about Tracy Grimshaw a lot, as happens. And I was saying, I think she's gay. And they were all like, oh, well, you know, yeah, like, you know, like we do too, kind of thing. So I guess I would talk about gay stuff like that, like just sort of, it would be separate. Like my gayness would be sitting beside me as my invisible friend. Yeah. I guess. So, and then, yeah, I don't think it was for a couple of years. All my friends knew, but not really workplace and stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I said earlier, I guess that's the uniqueness of my situation is, yes, I did come out as transgender to my friends and my family, and given the fact that obviously it is quite a marked difference.
Tell me when that was. Tell me about this.
Well, in the lead up to my brother's wedding, it was going to be in Sweden, and he'd asked me to be part of the wedding party, and it was just that kind of moment that kind of pushed me. This is a milestone in our lives to be part of that and to remember that. And it just kind of got to the point where after 20 odd years that it was just, now was the time. I didn't want to make that memory and then not be myself in it.
Oh, yeah, that's a great... So how did your parents react to that?
My parents were fine. I mean, as I said, they had 20 odd years to deal with it and to become comfortable with it. I mean, a point that I struggled with and do to a certain extent is my parents saying, we love you, but we don't understand you. And that was difficult because I found it really challenging that those two concepts didn't work for me. I don't understand you, but I love you. I don't know. So I did struggle with that a bit. But that's what basically pushed me to actually set dates. And as obviously it's quite a marked transition, I was working at the time, so it meant changing that in my workplace and going through a process with HR and then coming out to my team and having a whole process in place with that. So May 2012 is when I started talking to HR and letting them know that this was going to be the case. I then made the date the 27th of October, which is a week after my birthday, and as my transition date. So spent those 5 months having meetings every now and then, preparing a presentation that I would deliver to my team. And
meetings with your bosses and stuff? Or?
Yeah. Coming out to them through that process. And then HR was very supportive of it. I got very close to the HR officer. She was very great about it and very proactive about it as well. Went to the transgender support group here in Brisbane out of her own bat just to get a better understanding. So she really wanted to...
That's what HR should be like.
Yeah. And
take note.
And then... October rolled around. I knew it was going to be my last birthday, and obviously there's a lot of admin in that kind of respect, where change of name and then changing all my details and things like that. And a Friday I came out to my team, had a presentation.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did the team react?
The team was great. And I like to make a joke, and I'm hilarious. And
you keep saying, but still waiting.
Oh, everyone says so. So it was good because I'd won an award in the department about a month earlier.
For being trans?
Yeah. Just like a monthly award, a quarterly award thing. Anyway, I'd make a joke out of it. Whenever anyone would have a question, I would begin it as an award winner. This is my opinion. It became...
That's a pretty obvious joke.
Yeah, but hilarious.
Yeah.
It's the delivery. And the first thing somebody had said to me was, so you can't say you're an award winner now. So it's just a little bit of an icebreaker. And I will just say that was from quite a religious person. Yeah. And he was so understanding.
But this is the thing now too. I think religious people aren't as scary. Maybe as I've gotten older, I don't know.
Well, some, not Israel Folau.
I don't even want to talk about that. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess like religious people, like my nephew goes to a religious school, and I guess he doesn't even think about me being gay. Like to him, and for other people though, it's just like so. And I think that's a really great thing about the generations coming up is that it's just so.
It's not an issue.
It's not an issue, yeah. And I think people who are parenting now, those generations, I think it's like, well, at least they're not on meth, kind of thing. Like there could be something way worse. I don't know if I'm just making a blanket statement there, but I really just like how it's like when you're talking to younger people, it's not, I've got something I need to tell you, and you may not like it, and I don't know what to do about it if you don't. You had to always have those conversations of like, I feel that you'd have to have these conversations with people, and they may not like it, and then you would have to deal with them not liking it. Like that would be something of your fault in a way. Like I remember I went for a job years ago, and it was in my tie phase where I'd wear a tie and a vest. And my feet are so big.
Coming soon, lesbian style episode.
But my feet are so big that I have to wear men's shoes. They're very stylish men's shoes, but I have a lot of trouble fitting into shoes. And I was in that phase where I looked fucking dapper as fuck. And I went for this job, and this older guy who took the interview gave me feedback afterwards on why I didn't get it. And it was not making much sense until I was like, well, it's not making much sense. And he's like, well, look at you. Like, look at the way you dress. Like, how can you dress like that? Like, you're wearing a tie. And I was like, what? Like, that was crazy. And then I said, so the woman you gave it to wears the same dress every day, and yet she's allowed to have a job. She's up at the casino gambling every lunch hour in the same dress, and she's good to have the job. Like, except me, who dresses like somebody he didn't approve of, didn't, because of the way I dressed.
Yeah.
So I don't think that happens as much now.
Okay.
I guess I don't really.
But do you feel that was just like a...
Do I feel that I was too stylish for the organisation? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I really feel it. And I still feel that today. So, yeah.
But do you feel that forces a conversation?
With him?
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, he would never have changed his mind.
Oh, and I guess it's not about that, but I guess it's about that inadvertent opportunities where you actually do come out. When you feel it's necessary to have to explain yourself.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. There are those situations where you sort of think like that. I mean, I come out even as a parent now. People don't realise it's same-sex parenting. You know what I mean? And then I don't care now what people think of that. I worry for my child what they think of it. What they think of me is not really any of my business, I guess, in the end, but how that plays out on my child, that's what worries me. But yeah, some people aren't cool with it still.
Oh, and I totally understand that. I don't know. I guess I just think you just surround yourself with the people who do.
Yeah, and I guess that as getting older, that's a good thing to do. But I guess as young people, it's a lot harder, especially when the centre of the universe, like the family unit, breaks down and thinks you're giving AIDS to everybody. What I've learned about coming out is that it is at your own pace, and there's no set rule book on how you're going to do it. I think you need to gauge your audience. I think as with anything, in a way, be true to yourself, but also gauge your audience. Like don't come out in the middle of a anti-gay rally where people have that's not true. You could come out there.
Okay, we're not recording now.
Yeah. Well, I guess there is no right way to do it. You can do it however you want.
It's your right way.
It is your right way. That's the thing, isn't it? And I think whatever way you do it, I would say make sure you have a tight circle of support.
Oh, I can not say that enough.
Yeah.
Friendships change over time. And maybe some people won't like you if you do come out as whether you're gay or lesbian, bisexual, transgender, gender fluid, whatever the kids are doing these days. But I honestly think it is important to understand that it's difficult to do it alone. You can, but it's still important to have some close network who's going to be able to help you in those really difficult stages.
And I think too, if you don't have that close network and you need to talk to people, there are places like Lifeline and Q Life, Open Doors Youth Service in the Valley that are always really good to just go and chat to and maybe get some advice from them.
And transgendered wise, there is in Brisbane, ATSIC, Australian Transgender Support Association of Queensland, which is it's a place that I went to earlier on. It's not a place that I'm involved with now, but I think it's a good place to start off with and to build a network of people who are like you.
It's ended up being quite serious, isn't it?
Yes.
Damn, coming out. I think they're really good stories, but mine ended happily.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a good story for a long time.
And I think that's the difficulty in coming out is you really don't know what you're going to get and how you're going to feel in it. I had a easy transition in respect of I made sure my process at work was well supported. I had friends to support me, and we'll discuss it in another episode, but I still struggled. I still had my challenges with depression and anxiety because it is just an amazingly challenging period.
I remember when I had my first job at the local cafe, and these two lesbian birds would come in. And
Birds?
Yeah, it's two lesbian birds.
Like Diane Bird?
They would come in and get coffee and stuff, and I knew they were lesbians, and I was 16 and I knew I was a lesbian, and I was so happy and so excited about it. And I remember getting the courage one day to go up to them, and I said, as I gave them their coffees, 16-year-old me, are you guys lesbians? And they kind of looked at me like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I am as well. Like, and gave them their coffees, and they were like, yay, good for you. I was like, yep, thanks. And then I walked away, but I was so excited. But from that excitement...
You found a tribe.
Yeah, but from that excitement to my family reaction to then now, whew, what a roller coaster.
Yeah, even though you had struggles with your family, I think it's important as somebody who's known you for a good 15 years. We don't speak for a lot of that. You've been very proud of who you are.
Very proud.
I've never seen the struggle in you. And you wear what you want to and you present yourself how you want to because that's just you. And I think that's probably quite... that strength has probably helped you through as well, where it has been those challenges where family wasn't on the same page as
it's
you.
just eaten away inside of me and just reduced me to a ball of anxiety heading up to my 40s. So
okay, well, happy birthday to you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Just again, if you need support and stuff, there's Lifeline, Q Life, and what did you say, ATSIC?
Yeah.
Open Doors Youth Service.
Open Doors is a good one.
Open Doors is a good one. And they're there to help you. And if you go to the website, ohheygays.com, you can find it there. You just got to go into the coming out episode, and then on the right hand side is need support, and you can click on that and there will be support.
And make sure that you do give positive feedback. Sally thrives on that and wants to know that her website is amazing.
I just worked hard and it took me a couple of days, and you know what? All I wanted you to say was It's
No,
amazing.
don't turn this on to me.
It's amazing, but you can't. You
No.
can't. You just have to sit there and keep it all your compliments for me, like tight inside your body. So I just like beg for them like a puppy.
Yeah, well, I'm not hollowed out like you.
All right, thanks.
See ya.
Bye.